Ice chewer. Anyway, good night. Hello, everybody. We are Kevin and Aisha Shelton, and we're here for another Success Society chat this fine Tuesday evening. Um, I don't know where we see numbers of people, but we're going to just jump into it and then we'll have a good time. So, I am excited about this topic. It's a very steamy topic. Um, this actually came from our recent travel to South Africa. And then when we got back, Aisha watched a podcast that set her ablaze. So, somebody at our house. I don't know who that is. I don't
Okay.
know.
It's a live show.
It's real. It's real life. Anyway, so Aisha, sex in 7 countries.
Yeah, I don't even know how this was became a topic. I did see it come across my text message, and I didn't have the time nor the capacity to address it. So here we are this
There we
evening.
go. So you listen to a steamy podcast. I want you to give a little bit of background on the podcast, maybe give them a shout out, and then we can talk about some of our travels. And the point of tonight is living your best life with your spouse, and having the ability to not only travel the world but have a great relationship while you're doing it. So if you give background on the podcast, then I'll jump into the travel piece.
Okay, it wasn't that steamy, but it was very insightful. So, the Diary of a CEO podcast by Steve Bartlett. He has incredible guests, but really, what he does is he brings in guests that are experts in the topics that he cares about. And so he brought in Paul Brunson, who is a relationship scientist, he calls himself a relationship scientist. And so he talks about the dynamics of relationship, long-term relationships, dating. He's done a lot of things with the Oprah Winfrey Network, in their dating shows. He's also like worked for Tinder and done research on like dating profiles and trends and things like that. So that was really exciting, but it sent me down a wormhole. There was a lot of psychological stuff that he talked about. With what resonated with me was long-term relationships and sex. But then it sent me down a rabbit hole of the Diary of a CEO's podcast in general. And there was a lot of good content, literally 2 hours worth of content that kept me captivated about various topics that relate to relationship and sex.
No, I like it, and I know that you were inspired, especially you like, ooh, I just watched this podcast and it was amazing. And I didn't go as deep down the wormhole as you, but you say sex, and it's easy for me to catch my. So
Yeah.
for me, that was the first plug in. Was like, oh, sex, count me in. So
Let me check that out. And then, I mean, literally with the wormhole, there were two or three different guests that kind of piqued Steve's interest. And he likened it to a lot of the challenges that he has in his relationship when it comes to sex. And so it was very refreshing to hear that, oh, we're not the only couple in the world who's married and, like is trying to figure this part out. So, how to keep it fun, how to keep it mysterious and engaging, and just how easy it is in long-term relationships to like lose that mystery, which affects, which you may or may not know affects your sex life.
it's funny, and I think Chris Rock has a joke where he talks about uh, good relationships are boring and bad relationships are exciting, right? So
Yeah.
when you're in a good relationship, it is very easy for everything to get stale because you're living life, you raising kids, you going to work, you coming home, and it takes all the sexiness out of life, right? Like, what is that saying? You throw a bill in the bed and then, out goes the sex drive. But if you like your partner and you want to live this life, it behooves you to spend time figuring out sex, because sex is an important part of relationships. And you don't want to be in a sexless marriage. You don't want to have the ramifications of you and your partner not connecting. So For us, I know that, we work together, we spend a lot of time together, we're around each other all the time, we got young kids, we got older children. It's like our older child,
I was like, where did children come from?
an older child and younger children. It can get hard because literally you're trying to carve out time for sex, and you're trying to carve out time to just have a peace of mind and keep your head about yourself and not go crazy, running a business or working a job or doing all the things. And for us, we spend a lot of energy and time investigating how to make our relationship better. And I think that's one of the things that, we have really championed for other people is how do you invest yourself in maximizing your life through your relationship?
Mhm.
In the title of Sex in Seven Countries, I think about all the adventures and journeys that we've been in, and all the places that we've had the opportunity to do the grown up things. And, for me, I never wanted to travel internationally like we do now until we really uh, got in this relationship and I got exposed to it from you. So you've given me a passion for travel and living life on our own terms that we didn't really get. Well, I didn't get exposed to young. It's not like I had parents that were traveling the globe. My father's never been outside of, I think, Vegas might be the farthest part that Robert Shelton's ever been. Now, my mother's traveled, but I don't think she's ever been to Europe, or Africa or any other places that we've been. So it's not like this was some bucket list thing. It was not on my list at all. And now being with you, I'm exposed to all these different things, and we get to carve out what we want our life to look like. So I'm excited to not only explore the rest of the world with you, but make the most of our sex and our life together as we do that.
So tell people what happened. Where do we go? What do we do? Give them the.
Okay, so shout out to Courtney Sanders. So we went on a retreat, a digital retreat. So lots of new content coming for Success Society and the Favored Few, which is our new branding. So if you guys see the Favored Few, you know what it is. We are the few people out here making the most of life, and this was a retreat where not only did we get to learn, but we got to experience South Africa. And this was my first time to the continent, so I was very um, captivated and emotional and conflicted because you touch the soil and you think you're gonna have this Lion King moment, and I didn't necessarily have that Lion King moment, but I did definitely resonate with the continent of Africa and feeling a sense of peace and calm, knowing that this is some of the oldest land in the world. Um, and there are roots that go back to these places. Maybe not specifically to South Africa, but I'm closer than I've ever been to, ancestry. So that was a beautiful experience. And Aisha went last year, and you could talk a little bit about your experience last year. But this year, it was a lot of couples, a lot of great experiences. It was spending time with some of the people that we like to do life with. So Courtney and her husband, a lot of the other couples that we spend time with, and we got to not only learn how to grow our business in this beautiful backdrop, but also figure out how we like to live and what the rest of the world looks like, and can you do business internationally and all kind of things. So it was a really rewarding and beautiful experience. And Aisha, you can touch on it.
Oh, okay. I think for me, the trip to South Africa kind of solidified what appeal or value us as a couple bring to other couples. And so it was really interesting on the trip for the other couples that were on the trip to be kind of in tune and interested in, like, oh man, we really want to work together like y'all work together. How do we do that? Or how do y'all keep, your relationship or your marriage interesting? Like, what do y'all do? How does that, what does that look like for you guys? And I feel like we are always attempting to curate opportunities to either share information, and in the highest self of this actualized, the highest self actualized version of what we're doing with a favorite few or marriage and real estate is to provide opportunities for couples to come together and kind of maximize and grow together. Can you tell them a little bit more about how the favorite few came about and what it means to you?
Yes. So um, we were sitting in one of these sessions and we were talking about um, what it means to work with your spouse and what it means to maximize your life and what we believe to be not only the calling for our particular business under this brand, but what the impact could be. And that's really where the favorite few kind of popped in my mind, because what I thought about is being married is a hack, right? Um, it's almost like a God-given mastermind. It's this secret sauce that very few people don't necessarily get full access to if you're not using it to your advantage, right? So if you're married and you're not working with your spouse, you're leaving money on the table. If you're not, maximizing your strengths in your relationship, you're leaving something on the table, because lifting a couch with two people is much easier than lifting a couch with one, right? And the reality of the situation is so many people out there lifting couches by themselves, because you're literally working, hustling backwards. You can't maximize your gifts, your time, your money, your energy if you're not leveraging the person who's your other half, because you're already at a disadvantage, because you got two people in a car that you're supporting and only one person is going in one direction and the other person's going in another direction. So it just doesn't make sense. But when two people are going in the same direction, when two people are focusing on a common goal and a shared mission and a shared perspective in life, you're able to do so much more. And that's where the favorite few came from, because for the people who choose that path, while everything's hard, being single is hard, being married and unhappy is hard, being married and happy is hard. You get to pick your hard, right? So for the few of us who pick this life, we also get access to the few opportunities, the favored opportunities, right? So that's where the favorite few came from, because for the few of us who choose this life, we get that double favor. That's my very long explanation. You can give a shorter one if it needs some.
I'm always gonna wrap it up into a little package. I all of what you said, but also, being married is supposed to be an advantage, right? And when you think about the reason why you got into a relationship or a marriage, it was because you were leveraging the advantage of having two people. So even if we took it down to the bare minimum, the advantages of having quite possibly two incomes, if that's what your household looks like, right? And even if it's not a household that has two incomes, it's one that has one income and somebody who supports and stabilizes the household, whatever that looks like for you. And so the reason why I feel like the favor few is an appropriate term is because now you have two people working towards the same goal. And like you said about moving the couch, if I'm one person and I'm running a marathon, right, it's much easier to run that marathon if somebody else takes a portion of that, right? Like I get the opportunity to rest, or I get to maximize in the place that I shine the best or the most. And so Kevin and I have had the ability to shine because of our partnership and our union. We've been able to operate in our zone of excellence. We don't have to do everything because one of us handles or does something better than the other, and then we take that shared plan, and it just has proven to be very fruitful for us. And when we talk to other couples outside of ourselves and our friend group, we find that that's the same sentiment, right? Like together we've done some amazing things. And for those who haven't, they want to do amazing things and they want to tap into how to do that. And we're hoping that the Favor Few community will bring that to light.
Yeah. And that's the good and the bad, right? Because you not only get the benefits,
Mhm.
you also get to weather the storms much better. Think about walking in the rain and somebody holding the umbrella, right? Like it's much easier to cover yourself if somebody got the umbrella over your head because it's going to rain on us all equally. But yeah, so I definitely appreciate everything that we're talking about right now, but we got to get to the sex part because we can't lead a people without talking about what we came to talk about. So I want to break this down. I want to talk.
Leave you out of that. I
Nope.
might leave you out of that part.
You ain't gonna move me out of it tonight. So we're gonna get to it. I want to talk about some of the hot and heavy secrets that you learned because you learned some hot and heavy secrets. You gave them to me about, um, and this gonna get real adult, but we're gonna keep it PG. We're gonna
Stop.
keep it family friendly.
Yeah, keep it family friendly. There's some families who listen to this, so don't.
Yeah, are they crowding around the fireplace and listening to this?
It exists. This will exist somewhere in existence for future existence, so it doesn't disappear into the ethosphere.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk crazy. I'm just wanna.
I don't know. I don't trust you.
Do you? I think you trust me just fine. Anyway, so um, what are 5 ways that you can keep it spicy in the bedroom? And you take the wife side, I'll take the husband side.
You go.
All
That's
right,
just that.
all
But
right,
keep it PG though.
bro. I'm gonna keep it PG. I'm gonna keep.
Okay.
All right. So here are my 5 ways that you can keep it spicy as a husband. Leave your wife alone and don't pressure her. That's number one. I have found that to be extremely useful, although it may be hard. But the more I hands off and let her decompress and keep it basic, the nicer she is to me in the areas that I need it. Second, do things that make her life easy. So whether it's putting gas in the car or bringing her a pack of gummy worms from the store, like my wife likes, do things that show that you're in a good mood. 3, have great energy. Everything responds to energy, and I am notorious for having bad energy a lot of times. And I have really been practicing having better and good energy, and that has worked out for me. So I would say have good energy because it goes a long way. 4, um, don't sweat the small stuff. Everything ain't gonna work out. There might be times where you hyped up and you get promises and that don't work, but don't sweat the small stuff. Let it roll off your back. And then number 5 is pursue and be consistent. So even when you don't feel like it, where maybe it's not working out in your favor, and this maybe is for the guys like me you know who ain't who don't want to do all that, who ain't gonna jump down your throat, pursue and push past and go like, hey man, I'm putting myself out here and get to it. So those are my 5. See, those
Okay.
are bad.
No, that wasn't bad. Personal, but not bad. You spill water?
No.
I would say one, always be learning. Like there's always something new to learn in the sex or sexy department, right? And so I think it's easy to get comfortable, but don't get comfortable. Always be learning. So learn some new technique, um, learn what your partner or what your spouse likes, right? But always be learning. Never stop learning ways to be pleasing to your partner. That's one. Then I would say to be open to adventure. Um, because it's easy to get stale when you're long term. So I would just say be open to adventure, whatever that looks like, but do something crazy. I don't know what that means, but do something crazy. What your crazy looks like. And our therapist said this to us, crazy looks different for different people. So, some people's crazy is they're going to, uh, now I'm gonna say this word and I have no idea what it means, but hedonism resort, is that like a place where people like do
it's,
it?
it's definitely a place where people like swing and swing
Oh,
out.
okay, so that's somebody's crazy. That ain't my crazy, but that's somebody's crazy. So like do something crazy. Do something crazy. So there's that communication. I think that, and communication at the right time. And this is just something that I've learned from my research. Like the worst time to like give criticism or communication about sex or sexy time is while you're trying to do it. So like save it for a time where maybe you're at date night or dinner or something like that, but just a random time, a time that's not at the same time that you're trying to be intimate with one another. The fourth one would be mystery. And so, surprise your partner or your spouse with mysterious thing.
Lingerie.
I mean, yeah, like if you don't do that enough, do that, girl. If you do it all the time, then switch it up. But just don't let it get stale. Don't let it get stale. And then
If you do that all the time, keep doing it.
I don't let it get stale, because also it may not even be impressive anymore if you do it all the time. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I get it, Kevin. Uh,
I'm
point.
not throwing you under no bus.
And then I think number five would be hmm, what do I have for number five? Did I not get 5 points already?
You're on your fifth.
I am on my fifth. The fifth one would be to
Just do it.
just do it. Just do it. Yeah, I like that. Truly, truly, truly just do it.
No, for sure. I want to add some travel components to it because I want to talk about uh, how impactful it is to travel with your partner. One of the best experiences that I've had is the adventures that we've gone on traveling together. It is probably one of the most attractive parts of our relationship, in addition to, of course, this crazy life of running a business and our beautiful children. Um, I would say traveling with you has been enormously fun. So, travel with your partner, go on adventures. We have had some crazy fun, random things. We had to take a train through Germany. That was wild. We ended up in Turkey. That was crazy. Some of that is attributed to just traveling with the Dawkins, but some of that is also just fun traveling with you, being on uncomfortable plane seats with you for very long periods of time, being in random hotels, sometimes good, sometimes bad, long car rides. There is a joy in spending time with the person that you've chosen to spend the rest of your life with. Um, and I think that I am learning in all the craziness of the world and all the challenges in business and the challenges in the market and all the different things, to just sit and enjoy the time that we get to spend together when ain't nothing wrong, right? Y'all are together and you got food and you got a roof over your head and it's just you and your partner enjoying life. Cherish these moments, because there are people who, maybe their partner passed, or maybe, you know they went through a divorce or whatever. So there's people who don't get that opportunity. So if you are one of the few people who have a spouse, who have, a wife or a husband or a partner, cherish it, because it is a blessing. It truly is a blessing. And I appreciate you, and I cherish our relationship, and I'm excited to, be cool and keep it calm so I get my sexy time tonight as an adult. Uh, but let's set aside some time. Maybe somebody, are their IG comments or YouTube comments? Let me see if somebody
I don't think so. I would Let me sum you up. Life is short, take the trip. So let's start there. You don't want to look back and not and regret that you didn't do things. And then the other thing that I would say is life is short, take the trip. But the other thing that I'll say is if you're married to the right person, it's easier than it is if you're married to the wrong person. So um, that matters. All the things that we're talking about are for people who are in the kind of relationship that makes them happy first and foremost. If you are unhappy, being taken advantage of, being abused, being, it's just not a overall good situation. It's hard to bring about all of the things that we're talking about. That's why we call it the favor few, because you might know plenty of people that's married, but you don't know that many people that are happily married. And these are for people who are committed to one another and also committed to being happy together. That is who is a good fit and our target audience for what we do.
That's the favorite few.
That's the favorite few.
And with that, we will catch you guys next week. So we're going to keep doing these live as we grow our community. So, we want everybody to join. If you see that QR code, join Success Society, come into our community, have these conversations in real time, get some of those resources, become one of the favorite few, because truly your community makes or breaks your enjoyment, success, fulfillment, because you are who you hang around, right? So you hanging around happy couples, you'll be the fifth happiest. If you hang around, uh, what is it? Is it the five people you hang around? You hang around five unhappy couples, you're gonna be the fifth one. Hang around five happy couples, you'll be the fifth one,
Well,
right?
hang around five wealthy couples, you'll be the fifth one.
Yeah. So this is about you. This is about how do you maximize your life, enjoy your experiences with your spouse, be one of the favorite few who get to enjoy the best of life. And that is whatever you make it to be. It's not what our life looks like. It's not, it's what you and your spouse decide you want your life to look like. So with that being said, I'm Kevin. That's Aisha. And we will see you guys next week.